Hi. All right, welcome to the next section. So now we're going to be talking about venue space. I know it doesn't seem like it's that important, but knowing where you're entering from, or maybe how big the dance floor is, also comes into play on prepping before you start actually doing your first dance. This is why. If you have a very small space and you're like, we want to do an extravagant waltz, well, your waltz is going to be very small, and maybe you want to choose a different dance style that actually relates to the space. If you have a big open space, maybe the waltz would be more appropriate. Maybe you want to do a mashup dance where you guys come from the edge of the dance floor and you want to do a lift and so forth. All of that comes into play about how big the space is. So I always like to ask how big the space we are working with. At the very end of my lessons, I always like to do a dress rehearsal, and we have at Dance North County, we have different spaces. We have a small, we have a medium, and we have a bigger room, which is nice because depending on, some clients need this small space, some clients need the grand ballroom. So then we prep during our dress rehearsal and we make sure that we take time to just kind of situate into that allotted space. Okay, so now, where are you coming from? The entrance is important because if you are having your first song being played, I like to ask my brides because sometimes we don't know. If we decide, oh, well, the song that I want to use for my first dance, it has like a 20-second entrance and it's 20 seconds long of just instruments before the person starts singing. So I thought we walk up from the sweetheart table. Okay, great. How far is the sweetheart table from the dance floor? Oh, I don't know. I haven't been to this space yet. So now we can't really prep because what if the sweetheart table is super far away, or what if it's literally right there at the dance floor and you just get up and you're like, boop, bop, beep, I'm right here. And then all of a sudden now you still are like, what do we do? Because there's instruments. So try to prep, go to the venue space, try to practice, try to like mentally prepare. Normally I like to have also a little visual cue. So if your venue has a little map of the space, so I can have a visual cue to say, oh, you'll be entering from here, it's about 20 steps or so, and then we get to the edge of the dance floor. So maybe it's better to choose a different song. Maybe you guys do a full entrance coming out, and then we go to our song, or maybe let's just cut that introduction altogether. Don't be afraid to cut, and this is also going back into the first section of music, don't be afraid to cut any section out. If you do have a long section, a long intro in the beginning, and you're like, what do I do in this section? Don't be afraid to cut it out if you really just want to get to those words. Again, the longer you kind of situate, it's kind of taking away from the rest of the song, especially if you have a part of the song that you're like, no, that has to stay in there. So this space is really good to know. The flooring is also good to know. I have had brides who are like, wait a second, because you're going to be in heels or maybe cowboy boots or maybe flats or whatever you're wearing. I had a bride come in and she was wearing these huge stiletto heels, and I asked what type of space or venue, and she said we are going to be dancing on grass. So then it was, I don't think the stiletto heels will fit with grass because then you're going to be getting stuck within the dirt. So let's kind of brainstorm about what other shoes, maybe wedges would be a lot better, because now you're not going to be stuck if you still want a heel. So really trying to figure out what type of space is good. If you're dancing on concrete, obviously you won't be able to do as many turns, right? Very gracefully, because then you have the concrete. So maybe you need to practice more on concrete. So practicing where your dance is going to be is very, very important. So normally dance floors are wooden and they're really nice and you can glide, but there are some venue spaces where you don't have the opportunity to have the wooden, and that's fine. You can dance wherever. Like I said, she was able to dance on grass, completely fine, but it's up to you to make sure you prep. So on your wedding day, you're not getting there and you're like, oh crap, wait a second. I didn't take this into consideration. All right, I will see you in the next section.